you joyous students out there. Welcome back to another episode of Healthy Habits. My name is Michael Serpell, and this week we'll be talking about how you can use this time at home to optimize your creativity and how that can directly and positively contribute to your mental and physical well-being. We've chosen the perfect subject for this week's episode that can take us through those steps to achieving colorful, confident, cheerful, and at times charming creativity. His name is Ben Andrews, and he is the Performing Arts Officer at RMIT University. In a normal world, you can find Ben at the RMIT Student Life Creative Collective with his super duper team that supports extracurricular student creative activities, which includes a range of workshops, performances, social events, which run throughout the academic year. Ben is dedicated to providing opportunities for individuals to tell stories, as Ben himself is a passionate storyteller with a background in film, theatre, and self-expression. Ben, welcome to you. Firstly, it's wonderful to see you again. I do miss our regular chats on campus and participating in your classes that you help create, like improvisational comedy and ukulele club.
Oh, it's so nice to be summarized like that, and it makes you sound a lot better than you think you are.
Ben, as I mentioned in your introduction, you are the Performing Arts Officer at RMIT. Yes. Could you tell us a little bit about your role and what cool projects you're currently working on?
It's a funny role. I often try and describe it to people, like, how long have you got? I kind of have to cover a range of different things, and RMIT's got a great buzzword. It's agility, and I think I have to be very agile in this role. Pre-lockdown, it was very much organizing activities for students, including, like you said, the improvisational comedy, ukulele classes. We've run the gamut of workshops that we've done. COVID happened and the world broke. We were very quick to get things online. I think we kind of were like, this might happen. And so we started thinking about it before we actually had to work from home. And we've been running singing classes, acting classes, all from our living rooms. And we're still producing performances, which has always been my favorite part of being a performing arts person at RMIT, being able to create opportunities for students to, as you said, tell stories. And we had our auditions last week for our annual show Snatches, which is a night of short theatre, written, directed, crewed on, produced, and of course performed by RMIT students.
And what an incredible opportunity for all those students out there, knowing that they can still get involved with all kinds of incredible performances and keep those skills relevant. Now, with busking on the streets, theatres, auditoriums, comedy clubs, art collectives, and my favorite, improv classes, all being unavailable to us to actually access face-to-face at the moment. What are some ways that students can be creative during this lockdown period? And obviously, as you mentioned, getting involved with some of the online initiatives that have been run by Creative is one good way to get involved.
It's been really amazing how the creative world have responded to this and how they always respond to challenging times. Our creatives that would have normally been running classes online on campus have been stepping up and creating classes from home. Creatives that are providing their skills or creating workshops and classes online, so people that are sitting at home unable to work or unable to go see their loved ones or their friends or anything have the opportunity now to really upskill on all sorts of creative endeavors. But yeah, I mean, just a simple Google search of anything that you want to be better at, whether it be drawing or singing or playing any kind of musical instrument. There's so many people out there that have spent a lot of time and energy creating classes, and so often they're free. Just jump on YouTube and you can learn new skills, and that, I think, is what it's all about. And it says something really great about the creative community wanting to share those skills and not just hoard the wealth of information.
Now, you mentioned some of the awesome activities that are available at RMIT Creative. How can students actually get involved in those activities that you mentioned through RMIT Creative?
It's quite simple, really. A lot of this stuff can be found online. We're starting to build really, really great communities within our Facebook groups. I myself run the Performing Arts Facebook group, and it's a really, really great spot to just go in there and click on any kind of link to join a class, whether it be the singing, the dancing, acting. We've got an amazing cohort of mostly new students who have come together into an ensemble, and we're going to take a whole bunch of the RMIT community's writing. We're really keen to take those stories, because storytelling to me is one of the most important things, and it has been throughout human history. We come together to tell stories and share information and inspire people with new ideas and bring up old ideas in new light, and more than anything, to entertain one another. And that's how we tell each other's history and have our say and our voice heard. And that's what I really love about it. And that's what I love being able to provide an opportunity to do at RMIT.
So Ben, as an actor yourself, I want to touch on some advice for all the aspiring performers out there listening. So Joseph Perlman, an on-set acting coach for some of Hollywood's top actors, musicians, and comedians, highlights that this period of time can actually be the best time to network as a performer. And he says, and I quote, "Know what you want, be very clear on who you want to work with, and then the process starts on how you are going to pitch yourself over the phone or potentially over Zoom like we are today." So do you agree with Joseph in that this is a great period of time to reach out to producers, directors, coaches that you dream of working with and learn how to pitch yourself to them?
I think it's an excellent idea, especially in this time, because basically the entire industry almost shut down overnight. I know the film and television industry is starting to recover a little bit easier because you can sort of get a bare bones crew together to create these stories. But I mean, the theatre community are devastated in this time because you can't bring a large amount of people into the same room to watch a piece of theatre. But people are finding ways of getting around that. And that's what I think is really, really wonderful. But I think this is the perfect opportunity to sort of go, oh, you're right. Well, I act, and a writer is nothing without a performer to tell the story, and an actor is no one without a story to tell. So these are the relationships you want to be forging. And I actually think that like theatre is a team sport. It takes a great number of people doing a lot of work to produce something wonderful. So it's like a football team. It doesn't take one player to win a game. It's a lot of different people achieving a victory at the end. So I think, yeah, Joseph Perlman is very right in saying that this is a really, really good time because we're not going from one piece of work to another at the moment because we're all sort of sitting on our hands a little bit. You can use this opportunity to meet others and expand your network and talk to your friends and create your own content. I think that's one of the best pieces of advice that I keep hearing in this acting course that I'm doing, is that if you've always wanted to play this particular role, go out and just produce that show. Like, it can be a minimalist thing, work within your means. And I cannot recommend it enough to tell stories with the people that you know that can do certain things better than you can, and join forces.
Now, what are some effective techniques that you've not only applied in your performances, but also stressful situations that you've encountered in everyday life?
Excellent question. I remember when I was about 22, my girlfriend at the time taught me about mindfulness, and I had no idea about any of that kind of thing. And I really went on a new journey of trying to discover being present and just being in touch with your own emotions, as well as physical changes in your body. With nerves, it's one of those really interesting things. I found that someone told me once that the idea of waiting in the wings before a show, the nerves of that, on average, 2 responses to it. It's like, oh, I'm so excited to go on stage. I'm so nervous. And oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I'm freaking out. And they're actually exactly the same, but it relates back to how we personally deal with stress. So if it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous, it often can tap into this idea that, oh no, I might go out there and stuff up or forget a line or completely freeze on stage. Whereas other people that maybe are used to dealing with stressful situations in their lives might go, oh, I'm so nervous. This is really exciting, and I'm really pumped and ready to go. It's the same emotional feelings, but the way that we respond to it is very different. And I've often tried to lean into that category of, I'm very nervous, but this is a good thing, and I've chosen to do this. And what is the actual worst thing that could happen? I could freeze on stage. And someone told me a very, very good tip for if you were to freeze on stage and forget a line. It's just to breathe. Because you could be Hamlet on stage and go, to be, and in your mind you're going, far out, what's the next line? But if you just take a breath and breathe, and then maybe take another breath until the line gets to you, but take that breath purposefully, people are going to go, oh, that's a really interesting creative decision this person's made. It's being in touch with yourself is a really, really good thing to do, because if you don't know yourself, then you can't know someone else. Stress it's part and parcel with acting, and you try and make it your friend and try and take those endorphins and that adrenaline and turn it into something really good.
That's absolutely correct, Ben. And when things go wrong on stage, quite often, except for those people who are really, really close to you, obviously listening to when you recite all your lines, the rest of the audience don't know.
Audiences love it when something goes wrong in theatre. It's one of the reasons why we love going to the theatre. Is if nothing goes wrong in it, that's great too. But if something goes wrong, like if a prop falls over or if someone stuffs up a line, that is completely unique to the performance that you were at. And there is this part of the audience that goes, oh, how are they going to get out of this one? I wonder what's going to happen next. And they're actually more engaged because you've stuffed up. And they will leave afterwards and go, oh, did you see the part where he did that? Or like, oh, how did that make you feel? It's actually enhanced the experience more than you would think.
Finally, Ben, every week we get our experts to mention their top 5 tips in their areas of expertise. This week, I am happy to announce we have Ben's top 5 creative challenges.
Try and keep a plant alive. That is a wonderful thing, because if you can't take care of yourself, you should at least try and take care of a plant. This is my challenge at the moment. I have a pilea, and I've had 4 of these in my life, and I have a lot of plants. I have a ridiculous amount of plants. I've got over 30 plants in my house. This is just a small amount of what I have. But pileas are my white whale. I am a pilea killing machine. But so that's one of my top challenges, is try and keep a plant alive, because it's taking yourself out of yourself, and it's very easy to become self-destructive in a time like this. But if you've got something to take care of, it's very good for the soul. Tip number 2 for me would be try and learn a musical instrument, especially if you've never played an instrument before. Learning a musical instrument, even if it's your own voice, is one of those amazing things that just unlocks things in your brain, and then you have this ability to tell stories through song or entertain people. But yeah, I could not recommend it enough, and there are so many people online that are so happy to share their skills. You'd be surprised how many pop songs just have 3 chords, and you learn those 3 chords, and there's 50 different songs that you can then play. It's one of those really great things that you start from nothing, and then you get to something, and you can easily see growth happening within yourself. It's why we like having a before and after shot when we're losing weight or renovating or something like that, because it's really nice to see a progression of something. My tip number 3 is almost everyone out there has a way of taking photos, and we love to take photos and document, you know, our lunches, or, you know, that beautiful piece of banana bread that just came out of the oven. But I challenge you to go and take photos of things that you wouldn't normally think people would want to see, but take a photo in a way that people would want to see. So maybe get a lamp and experiment with different lighting, or take a photo of yourself with different lighting, or in a different place or a different time of day, and try and tell stories with the photos that you're taking. And yeah, find the beauty within your house that you never knew was there. Tip number 4, I'm a storyteller, so I definitely think that you should pick up a pen or open up a Word document and start telling some stories. And if that seems challenging, don't think of it as a challenge. Just journal. Write about what happened today, but write about it in a way that you would find entertaining if you were reading it yourself. These are the things that you can look back on a few years later and go, oh yeah, I wrote that. That was fun. And it also just like, it's so easy for the days here to just blend into one. There's always going to be those little intricacies of the day that are worth remembering, and write them down. And tip number 5, try and just make someone smile every day, even if it's yourself. So do something that will make someone smile, even if it's a dad joke. In fact, especially a dad joke. So yeah, go tell a bad joke to your housemate or your mum, or, you know, your cat.
And Ben, where can our lovely viewers find you if they have any further questions about the topics we discussed today?
Oh, if you want to chat with me, definitely shoot me an email. performing.arts@rmit.edu. Jump onto the Performing Arts Facebook group. That is the first place that you will always find the stuff that are happening with RMIT Performing Arts. I have an Instagram. I take photos of the random stuff that goes on in my life. It's there. I'll let you find it.
And Ben, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to leave with our audience today?
There's some really serious things going on at the moment in the world, and the joke is that 2020 has been the worst year ever. But let's not try and just write off this year and try and find some really joyous things in every single day.
Thank you so much for your time today, Ben. Stay safe, happy, healthy, and creative during this period of time. Make sure you pick up that ukulele more often, and we look forward to seeing you on the silver screen soon.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? I'd just like to go see the silver screen. Going into a cinema would be amazing right now.
Remember, you can find all of our new episodes of Healthy Habits via the RMIT Sports website and our Instagram page at RMIT Sports.
Thanks so much, mate.
And that's a wrap of this week's episode of Healthy Habits. There's no business like show business.